to Set It on Fire, the one place where CEOs like you and me get to be together, where we get to figure out how do we set the damn thing ablaze. Your business, your life, your money, team, company culture, and all of the things that allow us to build bigger, better, stronger. I'm so stupidly excited that you're here because every week I'm going to pull one of my dope-ass friends from around the world or someone who I admire to teach us how did they do it. The reality is that if they were able to do it, you can do it too. And you're more capable right now with what you have than you think. So let the shadow CEO step in and help you get to your next level. Oh, I'm so excited. Are you ready? All right, so listen, number one responsibility for us is keeping the bills paid and keeping everybody plugged in. You know, the greatest opportunity that we have today as CEOs is to not just be present, but to be the spokesperson for whatever it is that we're in front of, for whatever we do. There's traditional marketing, and I'm going to take another moment, another episode, and dive into really and truly how do you get people to see whatever it is you guys are doing. So if you're having like a cash flow problem, yes, you could look at your expenses and things like that, which I'll get into, but I absolutely want you to know that it is not the marketing department. It is not the person you hired to help you with a thing or to get on social media or the LinkedIn program you bought. It is you. It is you understanding that it is traffic. And the greatest opportunity you have today, that we have today as CEOs, is to be the spokesperson. Being the spokesperson it's the willingness for the person who is running the company to go in front into the world and say, oh my gosh, what we're doing over here on Fifth Street is the best thing happening in the city. Now, what you don't need to do as a CEO is go, it's the best thing in comparison to such and such and such. That's a different game, and that's a little bit dirty. But for me, I love nothing more than to see a CEO take pride in what they're doing, what their team is doing, the work that's coming out of their office or studio or wherever, their manufacturing facility, but to take ownership of it. Now, you can put out a memo. Yes, you can put out a press release. You can every so often put something on Twitter or social media. But what you really want to do, what I really need you to do, is to get in front of the company and to have your own independent voice. Some of the greatest, most cash-rich companies today are who they are and allow and give us, how do I say this? Like, give us place and connection simply because of the fact that they used a personal touch. No, they used the CEO's story and the visionary as the backbone for what we're doing and why we're doing. I don't have a connection as much to Apple, I think, as much as I have to Steve Jobs. It is Steve Jobs who I think of, walk through, and feel connected to. And not because I loved him or hated him, but because I understood the truth in his vision. I feel like I understood the challenges he had as being a visionary, but not as great of a CEO. I feel that I understood his willingness to get judged and be ridiculed in the public square, regardless of what was or wasn't working in the company, simply because he believed in the possibility of what was unseen. It is Steve Jobs that gave me the want to lean in, spend $1,300, $1,400 for a device that I had no context for, did not know that I needed, did not know that I wanted. And honestly, if you and I can just be honest with ourselves, looking back, 10, 15 years, whenever this thing came out, we 100% were sold an idea and a concept that didn't even really exist. You know what made us willing to do that? You know what gave us the confidence to do that? I'm going to tell you right now. It is his belief in creating a problem in the market and forcing us to solve it. So the number one thing, like if right now you're looking down the line and you're like, man, we really need to get in front of marketing. And I think I'm going to talk about, so if you have the time to binge, I would go back and look at the episodes before and after this, because I'm going to go deep and down in like step number one, creating more cash and more money in your business. You creating the momentum is not about you creating the excitement. It is about you getting in front and saying, oh my gosh, what we are doing over here is mother effing amazing, and you got to come see it and you got to pay for it. Think about it. I paid $1,300 for an item that I didn't even know I needed. That's because someone created a problem in my head. Creating a problem in your head is also going to the market and creating doubt that whatever the market is doing is not right, and whatever you are doing, whatever you have, is the way to go. You want to sit in the seat of being able to control the market and say, oh no, market, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. You need to absolutely be doing it this way, the way we do it this way, because we are the experts. If you're in business right now and you're running a company and you haven't said to the market yet, no, we are the experts and we are the best that there is, you've already left like $1 million on the table. Whether you left $1 million in the last month, the last quarter, the last year, over the last 5 years, you've already left $1 million on a table. And I am sick about it. I am, because business is this whole thing is too hard for you to be leaving money on the table. You know what I mean? Like, it's too hard to be leaving money on the table. The very first thing that you need to do, and it's like, Tiffany, I don't even know where to start. Pause this thing, schedule a team meeting, and sit down with your team tomorrow, with whoever it is that is supporting you, and say, what problem do we solve? What is the problem out there? Not what you do. If you walk into the market and all you do is tell the world what you do, then you're like the general practitioners in the market, and the general practitioners are making general practitioner money. There is a problem in the market. And the faster that you understand and you're able to articulate and you can sit with your team and your team understands that you guys are solving problems in these streets, that you're problem solvers. And you're the best that they are, because who wants to pay average? I don't want to pay average. I'm not interested in average. Don't give me no average food. Don't give me no average mechanic. Don't give me no average nail person. Don't give me no average person to do my hair. Don't give me average. Don't give me average work team member. Don't give me average work vendor, contractor. Don't take me to no average conference. Who is paying for average willingly? Nobody goes, here's my hard-earned money. Nobody is going, here is my hard-earned money. Here, go ahead. I'm going to give you 100% of my money, and you can go ahead and give me 84% value. Nobody is doing that. That is not happening. Nobody is willingly doing that, which means if no one's willingly doing that, you can't do it either. Every time your company goes, we solve such and such. Okay, great. What's the problem? Do you understand the pain that the person who wants to spend money with you is having right now? The more your team understands that collectively, the easier it is for them to be able to evolve as they become innovative year after year, quarter after quarter, in solving the problems. I feel like that's the greatest thing that we do as a company, especially like right now I'm sitting in our Do the Damn Thing studio. This is one, and this is an asset or a part of the Do the Damn Thing production company. That's one of the companies that I own. And as I sit here in this studio, I feel like even for ourselves in the last year, I can't tell you how many meetings we have had evaluating the problem that our avatar has for a specific part of what we sell there. And even though we want to look at the rest of the market and go, well, let's see what other companies are doing in this space. Every time we look at the other companies, we're like, we are not apples to apples. This is why we're higher priced. This is why such and such, because we provide 45 times more value out of the gate and we ridiculously solve our problem. And we know, how do we know? Because we were looking at a certain product that we've sold over and over again for the last, 10 months or so. We have 100% happy rate, happy percent high five rate, happy percent customerly satisfied. We can call them all, ask for the testimonial. And you ask yourself, okay, well, great. How did I do that? How did we get that to happen? By asking and understanding the problem. That's first. The second thing that the CEO should have, like every CEO should have in place right now, is they need a voice somewhere independent of their company in the world. You can call this personal brand. Every CEO does need a personal brand. You already have a personal brand. You're just not leveraging it or using it. And if you really want to turn things around in your company massively, if you want to move away from working in the business so much or huffing and puffing your way through sales quarters and things like that, figure out how to replace yourself with an operations manager, an operations team, or something like that, task driven, and then step outside of what you do where you're forced to be there Monday through Friday, 8 to 8. And I say 8 to 8 because I know that it's not 8 to 6 or 8 to 5 as it should be. And I really, truly want you to consider having a platform somewhere. Now, right now, I'm in the space of audio, podcasts. At a minimum, every single CEO should have a podcast. I think that it's the most overlooked, easiest, financially sound, most creative, most step up your game, create great content, like thing that a person can do right now, because you get to put your voice, your company, your business on the same platform as Oprah or Tony Robbins or Susie Orman or anybody else. Like anybody who's playing the game on the planet and who you've looked at who has millions or billions of views or whatever it might be, they're creating an audio asset that sometimes has video and it is loaded on a podcasting platform. Imagine every single iPhone. I don't know about Androids, I'm full with that, too tough, but imagine every single iPhone has an iPhone app. It has an Apple app, a podcast app on this thing. You open your app, like for real, if I were to open my app right now, I'm going to probably find one of our podcasts and it's going to suggest it to me as if I am a person, or it's going to feed it to me, which means you get to create a voice. See this? You can't see this with me, but I open it up and the first few that I see right out of the gate belong to us or one of our clients. It's exciting to me because I know that every single week our company is fulfilling its marketing objectives, even on bad weeks, even on weak weeks, even on weeks where we don't feel like it, we're retired, where we did a million events, all these other things that I know for a fact the most highest, most effective marketing asset is being released out into the world, and I can set it and forget it. And the only thing I need to do is sit my ass in a chair and talk and teach what I know to the best of my ability for the 15, 20, or 30 minutes that we are allotting. Game changer. Second thing a CEO needs right now, or every CEO should have, is a personal brand. But a personal brand for me is incomplete without a platform where your voice is being distributed on a weekly basis. Not monthly, weekly. And why would I do this? Because I'd rather spend $100,000 on getting out of me what I know and distributing that into the world than to spend $100,000 on paying for a stage or $100,000 on a Facebook ad right now. Like, I'd rather do that because my return's going to be greater. Our lead generation is going to be greater. And like for me and our companies, I can use my one voice and I can distribute it and generate leads for multiple companies and multiple things easier than anything else. The third thing that you got to have in place is you need some form of a process of evaluating where you are. And you need someone else who's bigger, greater, different than you looking over your shoulder and either pushing you, cussing you, or helping you to create. The person, like an admin person, is really great, but the challenge with them is that they are going to be biased because you pay their paycheck. And oftentimes you have someone who's really nice and they're friendly, and so they're going to tell you all the things that you want to hear, or they're not going to really tell you the shit that'll piss you off, and they're going to make it they're going to pacify how you do the thing that you do. And what I find is that person may not have the skill to look at whatever you're looking at objectively to go, that's not going to work. Don't do that. That's a waste of time. Don't, or to call you out when you're not stepping up to the highest of your ability. It is imperative that you put people around you, sure, but it is stupid important that you put a person around you who is going to wrap you up in a bow and shut you up when you need to be quieted. And also help you get the truth around what you want and then have the capacity to help you build it. Life is too short to be wasting time on things that don't matter. And life is also too short to be wasting time trying to figure it out, piece it together, going in different directions. Last year, I was really sick. I had surgery and I thought I had an emergency surgery and I thought that was the end of this road, only to wake up and be in a 6-month journey because I just wasn't getting better. I wasn't healing. As a CEO, that's pretty hard. That's pretty tough. But I got to the end of the road and I'm like, whoa, I got to the end of the world by getting diagnosed. My truth moment for myself was I had the same responsibility whether I was sick or not sick. And there are things that should have gotten done, need to get done, could get done. And man, if I could just get you to get them done, Tiffany, then this, and this will happen. So this third component is pretty important because I don't want to watch my own game. I want to spend my time doing this, teaching and doing what I do best, sharing what I know in a organized way for people to be able to take action and to use my intuition to help people when I come close to them who really need my help. Because that is the other thing that I do. I have a feeling, I know people. And a lot of times I can get in their arena inside of what's working and not working. And I can spend the time with them emotionally in getting through their blocks, helping them to be honest with themselves or forcing them to be honest with themselves, and then developing or designing the strategy for the win, whatever the win is, because I can see all the pieces because I live it every day. Having someone in your corner could be a strategist, it could be a coach, it could be like for me, it could be someone painfully expensive to pay. It could be like your accountant. You could grab your accountant right now and be like, hey, I need a little bit more accountability and I need to meet with you every Monday. I've done that in my chapter before. Every Monday, I got to meet with you from 8 to 10. I need 2 hours of your time. I just need to sit with you. I know it doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel good to pay more money, but it feels even worse to miss your marks, to know that you're not living up to your potential, to not setting anything on fire. You just pouring water all over the place. You know what I mean? That don't make no damn sense. And so having someone to sit down with you wherever it is and whatever you need, that's the key. The other place that you could really go and look, like, it could totally be you're a coach. A coach or a strategist. It might be us. Maybe you need us. You might be right now in a place where you're like, I just need help, but I need help. I need help with all the things. I don't need help with one thing. One of the coolest things that we do, which is why we have a boutique approach in one of our companies, is we understand all the things and we can do all the things. And not because we're a jack of all trades, but because I don't just bring in someone and provide the strategy of how do we turn their company around. I actually own a studio. So I just bring them into our studio. Our amazing team who produces our assets sits with them and masterminds in a boutique, small approach, process to get it done. The other thing that might, so it could be a strategist or a coach. Let me tell you, there's another chapter of my life where I brought my lawyer to the table. Because I was like, well, he charged me a lot of money and he is no nonsense and has zero interest in my emotions. I mean, he loves me, right? But he's not interested in, how people feel. He's like, what is the bottom line? And where is the spreadsheet? Where are the facts and the data? Can't hear you unless you tell me facts and data. And there have been times where I'm like, I need you. And I need you to meet with me 2-3 times a week, every week for the next 6 weeks. And he's done it. And, and he's done it and charged me for it. And I transparently say to you that you can't be afraid to ask for help. All I know is that the third thing for me was whether I needed help or I don't need help, I always have someone in my corner. It makes sure that none of the foolishness happens. It makes sure that I am on my A game because that's what I am paid for. That's what my responsibility is to the team that I adore. It's to be on my A game, not to just be a person on the wheel. Because if I'm not on my A game, they can't grow. And if they are not growing, then I have failed. And if they are not growing, then they're not happy. And that's not what I signed up for. I don't know what you signed up for, but that's not what I signed up for. And it doesn't matter how many times we feel like we're starting over. Start over 100 flipping times. Start over. Just get the shit right. It doesn't matter if you start over 100 times. It's okay. We're still alive and we have this opportunity. And for me, I'm grateful for it. So those are the 3 things that I need you to ask yourself, just checklist. Do you have these 3 things in place? If you don't, go get the help and fill these things in. If you don't know how to do that, hit reply to this, stalk us, send us a note, Tiffany@tiffanylargy.com, whatever it might be, and make sure that you get the help. Don't you dare go into tomorrow not having these 3 on lockdown. Period. That's it. We're done. 3 things that you've got to have in place right now as a CEO if you're going to crush the game in your industry.
Wasn't that ridiculous?
Isn't it wild to think that person is made up of the same thing that you and I are? Which means that you are just as capable of setting your business, your life on fire right now. But you know what it starts with? Action. And you know when that action starts? Now. This very week. Here's what I know. Somewhere inside of you is something you have not done, something that you know you need to do and a place that you need to dive in deeper. I ask only that you do it right now. And if you're like, Tiffany, I don't know what to do, I need a little help, that's okay. You're gonna do one of these three things next. Either one, you're filling out an application so that you and I can figure out how do we work together. Two, if you're like, Tiffany, I just got a quick question for that amazing guest you have on. Chances are I've got their cell phone number in my phone. And if you leave me a question or a comment somewhere, I promise you I will find it. And more importantly, I'll get that question answered for you and hit reply. Third, if nothing else, you are saying to yourself, I'm so excited, and you're pressing save and subscribing to make sure that you are with us again.